Yeah, Judicial Miller, billionaire, $6.75 billion. Petition for the Treasurer Janet Yellen is ordered as I am empowered by the Constitution's checks and balances. See, that's the problem in America. When a black man is in power, you don't want to recognize my power because you have no regard for the power or the Constitution of the United States. So here we go. As you see this filed in the federal courts, and as you will see, first things first, order for Congress to hold President Biden accountable for the Constitution's checks and balances petition when an entire branch of government is corrupt. The judicial branch of government been corrupt. How you think they've been allowing officers to shoot people and not be held accountable? That's corruption. So, here we go. Secretary of the Treasury Janet Yellen is ordered, as I am empowered, I give orders. That's the authority to give orders. To disburse to veteran Judicial Miller $6 billion for imposed slavery. Now, as everyone should know, that's prohibited by the 13th Amendment. That happens when a man's freedom is taken in violation of the 14th Amendment, which violates due process. And then what the 13th Amendment prohibits that. Prohibited by the 13th. It's a miscarriage of justice, denying due process. 14th Amendment. There you see it. So, the trial proceedings, or the transcripts of the trial proceedings, says, I'm Judge David Kiley. Second page. At this point, there is no black people in the jury, and there is no black people in the jury panel. We have a right to object to that. I can tell you that I don't believe the law will support it. I think that if we're going to do that, Mr. Miller, we need to do that right now. Yeah, we'll do that, object to that right now. Here it is, the trial transcripts. Objecting to imposing an all-white jury on a black man. Already, the judge has been told that the law will not support it. It's a criminal act under Title 18-242. Violations of right under color of law. That means the officials are violating your rights. Okay, as we continue. My client objects to the fact that none of the veneer men or the jury are black people. None of them is black people. So how you going to get a black man on the jury panel? Common sense comes into play. And that is based upon an assertion that he is entitled to a jury of his peers. The components of race should be included in the concept of peer. The fact that there are no black people within this veneer, I think, causes this jury not to be a jury of my client's peers. Once again, I'm going to show you that in writing. Because what we have here is, as I showed you, the Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, was to disperse that money on the grounds and the fact that I was imprisoned by an unconstitutionally impaneled jury. That's against the law. And as we go further, this Judge David Kiley is told. Let me show it to you first. Hit it up on the one and then. I don't think Indiana's in full compliance with the federal government's motor voter registration law. They're not in compliance with the law. He already told the judge. As a result of that, we don't get a fair cross-section in the veneer, and as a result of that, my client's rights under the federal and state constitution to a fair and impartial jury as mandated. That means it's mandatory. This is what you gotta do. But they not doing it. They didn't violate it. So, hey, get ready to pay $6.75 billion for the criminal act which you did, Title 18, Section 241. Yeah. Denying black people the right to be on the jury for a black man. Gotta have jury mind periods. So we got federal, state, constitutional, fair and impartial as mandated through the 14th Amendment. That's due process. And through the federal legislation, I think that's been violated. So for the record, I make that argument as well. Now, here's what the court, as I showed you, Judge David Cotty said, show it overruled. Taking the grasp of what just happened. He just overruled the federal and the state constitutions and imposed an all-white jury on a black man. As I said, that is a criminal act in itself. And as I showed the defendant, there is a violation, Your Honor. And the judge, David Cotty, said, show it overruled, sir. Okay? Those are the transcripts. That is irrefutable evidence. Irrefutable meaning impossible to disprove or deny. They can't say they didn't do this. This is what they did. Okay? Now, and there's the signature. Yeah. The clerk kept the records. So everything's legit. Now, as we exclusion of jurors on account of race, Title 18, Section 243. That all Title 18s are criminal acts. That's a criminal act by the judge who is still on the bench, never been charged. How is that? Because I done found the indictments against him. The judge has committed this. What we're getting to is the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. That is what the checks and balances for, and they must be checked. Now, this going to the United States Supreme Court. As you see, case number and all, petitioner seeks Justice John Paul Stevens or Sandra Day O'Connor to grant stay as permitted. You see, by law, they have to check the records, and if the records say what they just said, you have to immediately release me. This is to concede to the demands of the Constitution, which they not doing when a black man's freedom and life are on the line. So, petitioner entitled to injunctive relief for my immediate release from illegal imprisonment with reparations. Oh, they never did reparations. Yeah, well, $6.7 billion. They call it karma, come back around, and now y'all gotta face it. But remember, as I said, Congress got to hold President Biden accountable for the checks and balances. Now, as we proceed, a reparation from judgment of the proceedings in the Indiana Vandenberg Circuit County Court that was so lawless that imprisonment pursuant to them is void, and therefore res judicata, yet a previous judgment, is inapplicable in a habeas corpus proceeding. The imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of due process. Remember, due process, I gotta have a jury of my peers, and we didn't have nobody in there like that, okay? So that's why they don't want to face the checks and balances. Yeah, because they caught. Here it is in black and white. The trial transcripts, irrefutable evidence, impossible to deny or disprove. You see why the president not doing his number one duty under Article 2, Section 3 to see that the laws are faithfully executed, because they caught. Plain and simple. Now, has occurred by the prosecutor's use of perjured testimony, and therefore petitioner is entitled to his immediate release. There you go. The Supreme Court did this. Now, here's the magnitude of that. When the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, the entire branch of government is corrupt in an appellate court system, because everything is appealed to the United States Supreme Court. And so that was to the United States Supreme Court. As I just showed you, they didn't release me, so I had to do that again. You see what I'm saying? Because maybe they made a mistake, but you don't get no mistakes in the United States Supreme Court. Everything has to be on the one. James Brown will tell you, everything we do is on the one. Don't know. George Clinton, everything we do is on the one. Yeah, get ready for this, because here I come. $6.75 billion. And not only that, see, the picture got big. It's more to it than that, see. I'm empowered to stop police brutality. I'm empowered to stop inequality. I'm empowered to stop social injustice because of the corruption that they did. It ain't on me, it's on them. Why it started out at $50 million. Continued oppression. That means they refused to concede to the rules, to the demands of the Constitution. So it kept going, and now it's $6.75 billion. Pay the man, pay the man, pay the man. Now, for a second time, for the pay the man, to me, that they did this on purpose, once again, denying rights under color of law, Title 18, Section 242, by the United States Supreme Court justices. Here we go. Petitioner requires judiciary to account for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary or the justice of the Supreme Court, which must review and give judgment affirming or reversing the conviction. The petitioner's restraint is in violation of the Constitution and the laws of the United States, and file a writ of habeas corpus. The writ's root principle is that government must always be accountable to the judiciary for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary is the judges. If the imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of law, the individual is entitled to his immediate release. The habeas corpus is guaranteed by the Constitution, which is violated by counsel that has denied the writ's review to withhold judgment, which is required by the Supreme Court justice's disposition for relief that was first sought in the lower courts. You see, I came from the state courts, went to the federal appellate courts, the 7th Circuit, and now it's the United States Supreme Court. That's how you go through the system. Now, on the other end, where we at right now, that don't work. It's another level. They never told you that. It's another level. They call that level the same thing as what Watergate was. The checks and balances. They have to be checked. They refusing to be checked. That's in defiance of the Constitution itself. The court violates the 9th Amendment, denying my right to freedom retained by the people. The court denied the petition in conference and was never reviewed by the justices as required. That's dereliction of duty. That's what they were supposed to have done, of which they did not do. Now, we've established that the President Biden must call a national press conference and let them know this requires a showdown now. They best man, which is usually the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, and me, a regular citizen, as they say, but I'm sent to represent. Yeah, to get our freedom once again. I showed you that, and then Here it is. Miscarriage of justice. When a man is brought by habeas corpus, of which I showed you, to the United States Supreme Court, of which I showed you, and upon review of it, because it definitely said that I'm entitled to my immediate release and it was illegal. And upon review of it, it appears to the court he was against law, imprisoned and detained. He shall never be, by the act of the United States Supreme Court, left in the unlawful imprisonment. For then, listen what I'm saying real close now. For then the United States Court does an act of injustice in imprisoning him de novo against the law. This is our United States Supreme Court. So now you get the picture of why they did not want to honor the Constitution's checks and balances. They had been caught. They continue the oppression, which started at $50 million and now is $6.75 billion. And the Treasury, Janet Yellen, after the evidence that I presented, has refused to pay. Not only that, they cut my money off. And you know what that's for? A man with no money, not just in America, on the planet Earth, where everything costs, they're headed for death. No money for water, food, drink, shelter, medicine, none of that. You know what it takes. The babies, when you take the kids to the store, Mom, Dad, can we get that up there? Yeah. See, man's supposed to have that now because the checks and balances, this is the president's duty, Article 2, Section 3, to faithfully see to it that the laws are executed. The petition, and here we got a petition, the President of the United States, to hold him accountable for the checks and balances. The checks and balances are an essential part of the Constitution, as I'm saying. Call that absolutely necessary. We gotta have this. The integrity requires this. Now, for the President, there is no stability. There is no integrity because here you can see we got a call for him to honor the Constitution's checks and balances of which he was petitioned to do. Oh, well, once again, it holds them accountable. So then now, okay, as the book says, judge not lest ye be judged. This is the judicial branch of government who been judging, so now they gotta be judged. They have to be checked. That's what the Constitution checks and balances are for. Yeah, Mr. President, own up, or it called for your impeachment for real. That's what part of what Clinton went out to. Not holding up to his end of the bargain, took an oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend. So once I come with this and I'm saying that you're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to defend the Constitution checks and balances. You tried to evade it. Violation morally, took an oath for the Constitution and never be a part of its evasion. The Code of Ethics said expose corruption wherever discovered, of which the President has been petitioned, received 2 certified mails, and never done none of this. Here we go. All right, Janet Yellen, pay up. I just proved it. I need this immediately. I tried to give them a chance. I sent to the senators that I showed you. Todd Young didn't want to take it to the floor of the Senate. The Congressman Larry Bucshon didn't want to take it to the floor of the House. I guess black people don't have no rights. That's where we at. Those are criminal acts by them. That's racism by them. They don't get to do that no more. That is now a criminal act. They call that conspiracy to deny rights. Title 18, Section 242. They done toast. Put the butter on it. And disperse $6.75 billion, Janet Yellen. Thank you. Oh, we got more to come. Yeah, y'all gonna have to subscribe to this. On the one and out. Walter, can I get Mr. Cronkite to come in here and end this? This is how it is. January 22nd, 2022. For the 2020 twin HD. I'm telling them how it is. Time to pop off. I'm busting bubbles, baby. Give me that money, man. Ain't oh yeah. You gotta be held accountable. Yeah. I'm empowered to stop police brutality, inequality, and social injustice. You wonder why they didn't want to see me? That's why. Thank you very much. Human rights.